What up, Laker Nation? It's your boy Dtlf back with another live stream, man. We got a special one here for you guys. Last minute, we set this one up, but I got a couple of friends I invited onto the podcast, man. I want to introduce you guys to them. Let's start with the pettiest of them all, my boy, the pettiest Laker fan. Welcome to the chat, brother.
What's up, Dan? Thank you for having me on, man. How you doing?
Pretty good, man, and very excited to talk Lakers with you, bro, for the first time on the stream.
Yeah, first time. We talked a lot in DMs over the years, but this is the first time on stream, so I'm
Absolutely.
hyped.
For sure, man. And I also want to introduce you guys. He needs no further introduction, man. You guys know him, the Space Man. You know the Space Cowboy, I like to call him. Space Davis, man, joins us today. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing well. Spaceman, copyright trending, pending. Um,
That's right.
that's
Okay.
definitely already copyrighted, I'd imagine by now. But no, it was good, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for joining us, man.
Yeah.
Got a lot to break down, man. Wanted to get into some of these trade rumors. Definitely, of course, though, we got to start with the man of the hour. You know, the German sensation who's been killing it over there. He's been killing it over there overseas, man. Dennis Schroeder, who is back with the Lakers officially on a 1 year, $2.64 million deal. And I want to get you guys' take one by one. Let's start with Spaceman.
Oh man, always starting with me. Yeah. Oh no, you're good. Um, I was pretty frustrated with the signing. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Right.
Not because it's Dennis or whatever. I think in terms of value and what the contract is, it's great value. But I mean, unless a rush trade, and Trevor was saying this earlier, like this roster was already begging for a trade before today, and now it's screaming like it's gasping for air for a trade to happen because I mean you have what, five guards now? They're gonna be battling for minutes, and
We got a couple, man. Wait, let me see. Let me count them really quick. We have let's see. We have Russell Westbrook, Dennis Shooter, Patrick Beverly, Kendrick Nunn, Lonnie Walker, and if you count Austin Reeves, which I do, that's six. So yeah, we got about six guards, give or take. What about you, Petty? Talk to me, bro.
So I tweeted out earlier today that like if we don't aren't gonna make any additional moves, like if there's nothing else that we can do, I said that it was a good idea to pick him up because I don't trust that Russ is gonna automatically like turn into a defender, even motivated. I think he's gonna struggle trying to be a defensive guard, like and fit into that role playing role. So I said that like not thinking that it was gonna come to fruition, and then like literally like an hour later, people were like, or like I think it was like 30 minutes later, people were adding me on Twitter saying like you did this, and I'm like, man, I was just talking, man.
Blame you, bro. Hey, that's the way Laker Nation is. All right. So here's my take, guys. Really quick is I'm really confused. I got to take Sean's side on this one because we do have six guards if you count Austin Reeves, and not only that, but then what are we going to do with those three players? You know, Patrick Beverly, strong personality. Russell Westbrook, you already know, no introduction needed. And then you got now Dennis Schroeder, who everything I'm hearing is that he's humbled himself, and Rob Pelinka said they're extremely happy. This is what Rob Pelinka said: "We're extremely pleased to welcome Dennis Schroeder back to the Lakers. Not only do Dennis and Coach Ham share a player-coach history together, but they also reflect one another's mentality and toughness with an extreme competitive edge." So yes, there's some familiarity there, and there's some good to it, but I can't wrap my head around the six guards right now unless, like Sean said, there is a subsequential trade, man, that I think we desperately need. And amongst those trades, we're hearing the chatter, all of a sudden spark up about, Bogdanovich, Jordan Clarkson, Malik Beasley, Jovan Vua talking about the Lakers have been engaged with the Jazz. Who would you guys like to see traded now after adding Dennis Schroeder here? Whoever wants to go ahead.
uh, I'll go for me. I really wanted that Pacers trade, but if we're talking about specifically Utah, I think you can't make that trade without including Bogdanovich. Like I feel like I wouldn't make that, and I would make sure that no matter what, that like Conley's not in that deal. I'm not taking
You don't
Conley
want
back
Mike
to.
Conley?
No, no,
Oh, okay.
he's like honestly like he on paper like what he offers and on paper to me good, but like he's in the position where he's at that age where he could end up being like what we had last year, a bunch of players who are like falling apart. So that's
Right.
that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Okay. What about you, Sean?
I agree that any deal starts with Bogdanovich. If you want 2 first-round picks, I'm not even entertaining a deal. Not saying I'm still doing it, but I'm not even entertaining any deal that doesn't have Vanderbilt in it as well.
Right.
And then for personal preference, I want
Excuse
Clarkson.
me.
I want Clarkson there. So Clarkson, Boyan, and Vanderbilt, and whatever else you need to make the money work. That's my deal.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely agree with you guys. I like Clarkson as well. Mike Conley, my only issue with him is his contract, right? What is he like? He has 2 years left on his contract or something like that.
It's like
Uh,
20 mil this year and then like 20 something next year with 14 partially guaranteed, something like that.
I'm telling
right.
you, that is a trap right
Right.
there, waiting to happen.
We're gonna get out of a hole and dig a bigger hole, right? It's gonna be a water well,
Yeah.
man. Hey, but look, listen. I agree with you boys, man. I think if it's a fair trade, like my boy Sean said, we cannot give up 2 first-round picks for no Bogdanovich. That's bogus. You know what are the Jazz trying to pull off? They already got a treasure trove of draft picks, and they're taking every team for ransom here, man. But look, if we do pull off a trade, Bogey would be perfect on this roster. He just, his floor spacing, his size would just fit in so well with this newly constructed roster. Mind you, the way the team is looking right now, hypothetically, if we make that trade, it would be Russell Westbrook and Dennis. I'm sorry, not Russell Westbrook. It would be Patrick Beverly, Dennis Schroeder manning the point guard position, right? We'll have Kendrick Nunn, Lonnie Walker, and potentially Austin Reeves at the shooting guard. We'd have LeBron, Troy Brown, and Bogdanovich. Whether you see him as a 3 or 4, that's up to you. Then we would have Anthony Davis, Juan Toscano, Thomas Bryant, Damian Jones, Wenyan Gabriel, right? Hypothetically speaking, if that goes through, that to me seems like a formidable team. How far do you think that team would be able to go, guys?
See, I'm on the side that I don't think that makes us an obvious like contender. I think it makes us like watchable. I think right now as Laker fans, we're really desperate to like
Wow.
I'm just saying like
Yeah.
I'm not saying that we wouldn't make the playoffs, but I think as a fan base as a whole, we're very desperate to like not experience what we did last year, and I think you know that I'm the person that's kind of like the wait and see guy. I don't like to say like one way or the other, but I think that like to me, I don't make that trade and just say we're automatically going to be contenders. I mean, anytime you have Anthony Davis and LeBron, you always have a puncher's chance. But I don't know. It's hard for me to say that. We're
Okay, fair enough.
contenders.
What about you, Sean? Okay, you guys might take last.
I kind of felt the same way about the Pacers deal, and all I'd say, and also I guess depending on which spectrum Laker fans you talk to, I'm either higher on the Lakers or I'm very, very low on the Lakers. Which cheap plug my power ranking series, so see where they rank.
There
Check
you
it
go.
out.
There you go.
Very cheap plug. I agree with Petty. I don't think there's any deal out there that wasn't Kyrie Irving where you're like, yep, they're a contender. Granted, part of this, I don't want to be burned. So I'm going to cover for myself here and say that they're not a title contender. But like Petty was also saying, LeBron AD are healthy. You get them in a playoff series with some decent shooting and a good head coach, which I think Darwin will be. Then we're talking. And then you can, and the way I described the Pacers deal is if you did that Pacers deal or if you did the best version of any Jazz package, you could do something really, really cool. Whether that is surprise a lot of people and make it to the conference finals, whether that's an NBA championship, you could accomplish some really cool stuff this year. But I'm not going to say you're a title contender.
Okay. The Pettiest living up to the name, being petty, and Sean Davis with the X's and O. Okay, I love it. I'm gonna go the opposite route, man. I'm gonna disagree with y'all for the first time. I'm gonna say respectfully. I'm gonna say that the Lakers would be an instant title contender, not a favorite, right? Not a favorite, but a title contender. Check this out.
Instantly.
Instant. I'm gonna give you that instant ramen style, man. Listen, we're gonna heat up. Real quick. We're gonna heat up so quick, guys. It's gonna be crazy. Like, listen, these complementary pieces, you can argue that might be better, assuming we pull off that trade for both. Bogey Bogdanovich and Bojan Bogdanovich and Clarkson and hopefully Vanderbilt. I'm on board with Vanderbilt, right? Size, length, versatility. But we pull that off, guys. We're talking about potentially a better core and a better, better rotational players than the ones we had, arguably, in the 2020 championship years. I mean, come on, man. You're not taking Bojan Bogdanovich over Danny Green. You're not taking or Kuzma.
Okay, hold on, wait, really
Whoa,
quick.
whoa.
let's provide some context.
Okay.
The West this year is way better than the Western
Oh
Conference.
wait, that's why I said contenders, not favorites. That's the key right there.
And also too, I would say too, like the difference between like if there was like that conversation, right? Bojan for Kuz, like, you know, offensively, he's obviously a better player, but like defensively, that dude's barbecue chicken, man. I'm
Right.
not.
So that evens out.
So
Okay.
Right.
So I mean that's fair, right? But we didn't want Kuzma exactly for his offense, even though he can go off in spurts, right? He was more of a versatile player. He could play make, he could defend, a rebound, do a little bit of everything, right? He was a jack of all trades, masters of none. But my argument here remains that, listen, we got younger this offseason. We get Thomas Bryant, we get Damian Jones, so we were lacking at the size department and in the youth department. We settled some of those things in the offseason. We go out, we get Bojan, Malik Beasley, any combination of those players you mentioned, except for Mike Conley. But we get this combination to add to LeBron James and a healthy Anthony Davis. Now you got Dennis Schroeder on the cheap. Now you can argue, man. We could be serious.
So my question would be, like, for me, there was a lot of ifs that Sean had to go through. Like, the biggest caveat being if Anthony Davis and LeBron James are healthy. Like, I'm going to assume that we're going to maybe get 50 games from both of them, just on the low side. Like, the worst case scenario, right? 50 games from them, right? A piece. And let's say they play 45 together, right? And that's like, right, that's how, I'm just saying, like, on the lowest side, right?
Right.
If who on that roster, if they are down or one of them's down, is going to, like, pick up for the rest. There's not anybody on that roster to me that says, hey, I got this. Like, I'm sorry, I like Bojan. He's going to get you some buckets, but I mean, he was on the Kings and he wasn't doing nothing over there. So I that's my only concern. It's like there's a lot of important caveats.
But it's different when you're playing for the Kings and you're playing with the King. You know, that's a huge difference, bro.
Yo, you always got a line for me, bro. You always got a line for me.
So basically, when you're gonna have the floor spacing that LeBron James and AD gonna provide, this man's gonna sit out here looking like Pettiest Stojakovic, man. Yeah, that's an old reference. But since we're going Kings, I'm gonna bring it up, man. All right, Sean, go ahead, make your case, bro. Why would we not be instant contenders? Instant ramen contenders, man.
Yes.
Talk to me.
No, it's the instant ramen noodle contender. That bar was hilarious. No, again, like the way I would describe that is we can do something really, really cool, but like I'm not, and you didn't say favorite, but like I'm not attaching favorite or contender to that team. While I'm optimistic, and I'm actually a lot more optimistic even with Russ on the team.
Right.
Me too.
I am very much so more wait and see. Like I want to see how the team gets out of the gate. Also, I'm the biggest Darvin Ham fan you're gonna find. I dare you to find one bigger. But there is still good luck, Dan.
I'm just playing. Go ahead.
There's still some like fair, legitimate questions from a rookie head coach who would have. Like, for example, when you get in a 7-game series, the adjustments he would have to make over a span of a series. And then also like Denver, I'd probably say Denver's better right now than us, even if you make the best Jazz package possible. Denver's probably better. The Clippers bar for probably better. Golden State's better, and then you can make an argument for shook your head at Golden State.
No, at the Clippers, man. I'm not giving them no credit. I can't
and
give them
honestly,
credit.
too, Grizzlies, bro.
I was about
Grizzlies,
to say Memphis, yeah.
Grizzlies are deep, man. They are
I like the Grizzlies, but all I gotta say is we got the experience over them. Now they got some experience last year, but in my opinion, they still haven't gone deep enough. They're not battle tested to go up against the Golden States, the Lakers of the world, and beat them. I don't think they are. I don't think they are.
I think if they had it.
No, I'm with you. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say they beat Golden State if they had half a brain cell. Like they choked away game 1.
But that's the youth.
Hurt.
That's the youth. Right.
Okay, fine. But the two they led. What game was it? Was that game 3 or game 4 where they led for like 47 minutes and lost? Like,
yeah, they're a young team. Like I get it's more like I understand that from the experience side. But it's like also, too, I expect them to go into the playoffs being healthy. I can't make that same expectation about the most important pieces on the Lakers. So for me, if I'm looking to make a trade, I want something that's going to like sustain the Lakers. Like what Russ was here to do, let's be honest. He was brought in because it was like we can't put everything on LeBron as a playmaker and AD. let's be honest, we want to make it easy for AD as well. That's why I'm optimistic about Darvin Ham as well. But like, there's a lot of ifs, and I'm just trying to be like unbiased because I'm an optimistic person too, as much as I am petty. And I think that you know, there's a lot of other factors outside of just like being injury prone that have not shook the Lakers way. You know what I mean? I think even with the injury prone, that if some things go different, that the Lakers are probably making the play in last season, which is still a failure, but it's you can at least, you know, say that they made the plan with all that adversity. They didn't even do that. So that's my only pushback about that trade. I see the picture, the vision that you have, Dan, for like what that team could be, but even in my most optimistic, I don't see it for myself.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
Really quickly, we're not saying that the Lakers couldn't beat these teams. Like, if I had to put my money on it, I would probably pick us for sure against Denver and Memphis. But if we're like doing like what team on paper right now do I trust more, I'm probably saying Denver, and then Memphis is up in the air. That's all.
Okay, that's fair. And listen, right now on paper, you're absolutely right. I'm not certain about this roster on paper. I still need to see what they can do and all of that. And even with the Bojan Bogdanovic trade, they would still need to gel. You know, every team needs time and all of that. My boys, Jay Sports, appreciate the super chat, says, I've been telling you, Dan, that Schroeder was a fantastic signing. He's 28 years of age and a pest on the defensive end. Westbrook is definitely out. Do you guys agree with my boy Jay right here that Westbrook is out for sure?
I think logic would have you believe that they have something on the way, but it's Rob Pelinka, it's the Lakers. You never know. But I'm also too. I just want to put this out here. I'm a Laker fan first before I am a LeBron. I don't care about like LeBron's legacy the same way other people do. Like I don't.
Amen.
He's already done what he's gonna do. Like nobody's gonna be able to take anything away from him. You know. So I'm a fan of the team first, and I can also understand like not wanting to just throw in two picks just for the possibility of being able to possibly maybe be a contender. Like when, you know, so.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
Listen, go ahead, Sean. Go ahead, bro.
No, go ahead, Dan. Go ahead.
I was saying that's fair. Listen, I don't think anybody here in the chat, everybody here mostly, you know, the fans that show up here are mainly Laker fans, just like all of us. And so we don't want to mortgage the future for role players. I agree with that. However, if they're top heavily protected picks, let's just say top 20 picks, you wouldn't do that?
Oh, for protected picks, those bad boys are gone. But this is the thing; they're not trying to get protected. I'm gonna just say, at least from my sources, there you guys go. I haven't heard they're trying to get unprotected. You know, there's this myth going around that you know that you can just fleece my Lakers, and they're not letting that happen no more. So,
No, sir, not this year. Go ahead, Sean. What were you gonna say, bro?
No, Petty, you were talking about like the guards and stuff, right? Or am I tripping? Like just not, yeah. And how like we're, you know, the logic and stuff like that, and you know, logic can make you think that something be on the way. Dan reacted to this. It was hilarious. Dan's reaction. Did you see my tweet about like no way the Lakers are gonna keep getting guards. That doesn't make any sense, Rob Pelinka.
Yeah, I saw that.
the Usher thing.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. That Usher gif has been going viral all summer long, man.
Oh yeah. It's at the tail end of it. It's a couple weeks. I'm glad you got that in now because it's probably like a couple weeks or months from being done.
It's coming back. It's coming back at some point. Ballhawk Sports says a healthy LeBron James and AD two top 10 players with good role players can compete with anybody. A trade with Utah gives us good role players with playoff experience who fit well next to LeBron and AD. I agree. And that was my only argument. I didn't say we'd be favorites. I say we would be contenders, right, in the West. Like we would put some scaring into some of these teams at the very least. Maybe take one or two of these teams to 7 games. I'm talking Warriors, you know, teams like that. So, but that's just what I meant by that.
You know, like to me, like I'll give you a perfect example because I just seeing some reports about him being possibly being a free agent next season. Mm-hmm. Like if the Lakers were trading for like a Jordan Poole, a guy who can like, and I'm just saying like if the roster needed that, I'm someone on that level where they're not like a pronounced all-star or superstar, but you can tell that like it don't matter what situation they're in, they're going to be able to get you a bucket. They're going to be able to like to play well, and he's shown that like when Steph Curry was hurt and throughout the season and the playoffs that he's a guy who can be counted on. Like if we had that guy, but like Bogey doesn't even have any playoff experience. What if he turns into like turns into back into a pumpkin right when the playoffs start? So I mean
I
that's
feel
my
what you
only
mean,
concern,
bro.
man.
But I feel you, man, and I'm not mad at you for that take. However, Bogey is an 18 point per game scorer on Utah, who was a very good team for several years, man. So I feel like that could definitely translate with LeBron because we need some floor spacing for sure. That's the only thing I'll say about that. Go ahead, Sean.
That's fair.
No, I agree. I understand the take, and I guess I'm lining up a little bit to it. I don't know. Like if I think about it, like again, I don't want to keep referencing this, but like think about my own power rankings. The Lakers wouldn't jump up like 8 spots. They jump up like 3 or 4 spots if we pulled off a Jazz trade. But you do get, I mean, some playoff experience. Like granted, it's not like a conference finals, but Bojan, Clarkson, those guys, they've been the semis last year with that Jazz team, and then 2 years ago now. So
Yeah, it'll be interesting if it does happen. I think we can break it down with more in depth. If it happens, for now, it's all hearsay, anyways. For all we know, this could be the ludicrous lineup we're going to roll out there into the season, man. Are you guys feeling this team as it is built right now?
You want to go first? Go ahead.
I know Sean's not for sure, but go ahead, bro. I know you're not.
No, I'm more optimistic. It's just the Schroeder signing really bothers me because like it makes no sense from my vantage point.
Right. I agree.
You see more wing depth in my opinion, but or like just give Cole Swider the shot. I'd rather give Cole Swider the shot than have a 8th guard on the roster who is fighting for 5
I was
minutes.
just about to see. This is my thing because I know that you're deep in the weeds with Swider, and I had an opportunity to see him in person. Were you out there too, Sean?
Yeah,
And,
you hung out with Matt, and
Yeah.
I was left at the bar by myself.
Yeah,
Wow.
I did. I was gonna
Ouch.
say when I ran into Matt and Trevor that you weren't there. But no. I got to see
They
him.
be your own friends, man. They be doing it.
Oh, hold
My
on.
bad, man.
This is an ABC. This is an AB conversation.
Oh my goodness. Nah, man. No, sorry. Hey, I did tell you though. I did hit you up and say you should have came out. I was asking you if you were. I'm saying I was telling that to Dan too. Dan, I was telling you. Remember, I DM'd you. I was like, "Hey, you coming out to summer league?" He's like, "Nah, man."
Yeah.
So you did get
You
invited.
got to next year. You got to. It's
I
like
will. For sure, I
did.
will, man. I'm gonna join you boys next year for sure.
But sorry to digress. I got to see Swider in person, and what I saw is like he seems like the guy that what he does in summer league is going to translate to. He was just too consistent for. He looked like a guy who shouldn't be there, right? Offensively.
Right.
But when I saw him on defense, I saw someone I've never seen someone's legs move that slow. Like people were trying to compare him to Kuzma. Kuzma wasn't a bad defender because of lack of effort or athleticism. The issue is that he didn't slide his feet. He jumped around a lot. He bounced when he was first coming in the league. He was so eager trying to cut people off and stuff like that, and still learning how to take away things from a player that he would get burned.
Right.
Cole Swider might not have the ability to defend on on the NBA level. That's like from what I've seen. I know that at his position he's not going to have to guard point guards or anything like that, but for me he didn't have like the
lateral quickness,
lateral quickness, and he doesn't have the basketball defensive mind to be in the right position, which to me is a lot to ask from a first year rookie.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have him play. I would just give him that last roster, that 14th roster spot, so that in case there's an injury here or there, boom, boom, boom. If we have to go to Cole Swider, here you go. And then I was in terms of the summer league guys and in comparison to the rest of Lakers Twitter, I was lower on Scottie Pippen Jr. personally. I'm higher on Max Christie. That was the guy I wanted to take at 35, and they did it. And then Cole Swider, I'm around everybody else. I feel Cole Swider defensively, though, we'll give him this. He played 4 years at the most weirdest defensive college in all of collegiate sports. He played at Syracuse, that all they run is matchup zone all day. So like he doesn't, and you're not going to see that at all in the NBA unless you're playing for Eric freaking Spoelstra or like Nick Nurse might throw it out there.
Right.
You're not running that. So
or Mike D'Antoni, or one of these no defensive teams. But
right,
yeah,
so like,
I agree with you guys. Look, Cole Swider definitely concerned me. He was a lot closer to Brian Cook than Kyle Kuzma. Okay, defensively, and that might just be his role. He might just come in as a spot up shooter, right? Who gets spotty minutes here and there, especially when we need some floor spacing. They might throw him out there. So I'm rooting for the young fella, but I do hope, to add to both of you guys' point, I do hope that Cole Swider improves his lateral quickness. Maybe he adds a couple of pounds of muscle so he doesn't get bullied in the paint. And maybe we'll get a better version of him.
I will say this really quickly. I do think he has the potential defensively. He won't be Kuz because Kuz is – if Kuz decided to focus his attention solely on defense, Kuz could be an all-defensive player, and I mean that. Right. So Cole Swider isn't that. I think he never will be that, but Cole Swider could definitely be a serviceable defender. I really do believe that.
Hey, and you know what? One thing we need to also talk about, because if we're going to talk about Cole Swider, we really do have to talk about Max Christie, because I think there's a big opportunity for Max Christie this season to if you put him next to two guards that can shoot and all he has to do is focus on defense and possibly hitting the open three, I feel like he might actually be able to be useful, right?
Yeah, go ahead, Sean. Go ahead, bro. I know you're aching to get this one off. I like Max Christie. I spent all summer defending him from Lakers Twitter, man, because they were giving up on him like. I felt like we started watching basketball yesterday that we were commenting on him.
Bro, okay, first off, anybody that was following my draft stuff this year, they know that Max Christie, like in terms of my guys, like the guys I like the most or my people, that sounded weird, but you get what I'm saying. He was in my top 5 my guys list for this draft.
Okay.
But and I wanted the Lakers to take him. If they, bought a second round pick, I wanted to take him. And they did. Some people, by the way, are like using summer league stats to like discredit Max Christie. Like, bro, what are we doing here?
By the way, he's still raw. He's still extremely raw. He's going to get better offensively too.
He's 19. The shooting doesn't bother me. I'm not concerned at all. He has a really, really clean, as Tony P just says in the chat. I loved Max. Yes, I did, Tony. The shooting doesn't concern me at all. He has a very clean jumper in terms of his mechanics. It's just more about reps and, getting the NBA 3-point shot down. But athletic kid, amazing defender. I'm not exaggerating. Like for a day one rookie, like in summer league, he looked like a starting caliber defensive player. The stuff he was doing.
I definitely love what he did defensively, man. I'm like, if he can pattern his game, forget the shooting and all that. But if he can pattern his game after like a defensive-minded Tony Allen, I'd be happy with that. Like a athletic defensive wing who primarily focuses on defensive slashing. And then anything else would be a bonus to that. But I
think he's in a unique position to do that too, don't you think? Like, there's so many guards on this team.
Well, the Lakers didn't draft this kid with the expectation of him playing heavy minutes. They drafted him for the future. We don't have a lot of young assets, right? If he gets minutes, he's going to have to impress.
Yeah, but that's why Rob, and this is the really thing that bothered me all offseason with Rob, is the fact that he did not give him a 3-year deal. He gave him 2 years, which makes no sense.
Right. Well, devil in the detail. Go ahead, bro.
No, I was gonna say I don't, and they fumbled that a couple times too. I think the same issue with Reeves, right? They didn't give him a 3-year deal as well,
Reeves
right?
and THT.
So that's a huge decision we have to make this summer as well by Austin Reeves. Of course, we should sign him back, but it's gonna bite into the cap a little bit. Who are you guys looking forward to the most, man? From the players we currently have on the roster. Now, this is an updated question. I asked Sean this the last time he was on the live stream, but this is an updated question, Sean, because now we got your boy Dennis Schroeder back with the Lakers, man. So we gotta ask, man. Who are you looking forward to seeing the most this season, man? Everybody that's on the Lakers.
Still same answer. Still either Damian Jones or JTA. Same answer.
I like that because you're Mr. X's and O's and you're going deep into your pick, man. These guys are guys that might not always impact the game offensively, but they got a lot of juice defensively. A lot of veteran leadership there. So I look forward to that as well. My boy Angel says Westbrook and Conley in Utah together is terrible for basketball. If Rob makes that happen, re-sign him immediately. He said he would be so evil. I don't think the Utah Jazz are worried about what they roll out onto the court this season. They
Not in
are,
the slightest.
yeah, they're getting ready to tank, brother. So they could pick up whoever they want, and I don't think it's really going to give Rob Pelinka a contract extension.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've also heard that the owner has never tanked before in their entire history or tried to tank, and
Mhm.
that they might be hesitant to do anything that's really gonna put a terrible product out there until maybe like the deadline, or maybe like once they know they're back. I've heard that floated around a bit, so there's a chance that a trade might not happen with Utah simply based on that. So
Well, you know what? I don't buy that, man. I think that's the ticket selling quote right there, man. That's we're all in with the fans type of thing. The right thing to say. Yeah, they got to play the politics the right way, man.
yeah,
But
that's true.
what do you think, Sean? You think they're gonna? I think they're gonna tank. What do you think, bro?
It makes the most sense. You don't trade Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert if you're not trying to tank this year. To go to enter yourself in the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes. Yeah, you don't do that unless you're trying to tank.
By the way, since you're the scout, Sean, I know you got a good scouting eye. I like to think I have a good scouting eye as well. Victor Wembanyama. I don't know if I just butchered his name or not, but you know who I'm talking about, man. Do you buy the hype? Do you guys buy the hype?
Go ahead, Petty.
I haven't watched a whole lot. Like, I haven't gotten to the weeds with them because we don't ever have any good draft picks. We haven't had any since D'Angelo Russell, or no, Brandon Ingram. Sorry, Brandon Ingram and Lonzo. Sorry, but so I haven't really got into it. But I have seen him play, and that dude looks like that he could be very good. Like I see the hype. Like it makes sense just watching him play. So
Right.
I don't know about any. I'll leave that to Mr. Spaces, the spaceman, to go into more detail about that.
All right, Cowboy, what you got, man?
I mean,
Give us
I
kind of
think
report on when I'm not going to try Victor. I'm just going to call him Victor.
Victor.
Big Pete.
Well, I definitely don't have a scouting report yet. That's like coming for like another 5
Okay.
months at the very least. But no, like I think what Petty said spot on. I definitely see some of the hype. I think people are like, I do think it's getting like dragged out of proportion a little bit. Like he's a franchise. Where you start to put that much pressure already on a guy, saying, "Oh my God, he's gonna save your franchise." Like, let's settle down just a little bit.
Yeah.
But I see the hype, man. He's what is he, 7'1", something ridiculous like that, with the
Soft
handles
touch.
of a 6'6" guard.
He looks
Um,
great. He looks
that
great.
can
I haven't
shoot
seen
it.
enough of him. I haven't seen enough of him where I can give my breakdown as well. But from the clips I've seen, I mean, if that guy stays healthy, and that's the key, right? Because anytime you're drafting a giraffe, you have to make sure that they stay healthy and they don't step on glass or nothing, right? So
That's my concern. See, that's my concern about like anytime you get past like 6'10", especially if depends on your game too. Because if you shoot like Kevin Durant, well, that's gonna be one thing. Then I know that you're not gonna be heavily reliant on like banging down low. But when you have a lot of these guys like what's his name from OKC who's out for the
Chet.
season, yeah,
Chet.
Chet, that's what their durability, man, because they're stretched so thin, they haven't had time to put on any muscle. For me, like I really think like a lot of good players or young players could benefit from doing a year in college or a year in the G League just solely based off the physicality. I don't know if it's better. It's probably not for like a franchise player, but just like those guys who are so thin, man, it's like they seem to just break.
right. Right. I always get concerned with top players like Chet, especially when they're lanky and they don't have too much muscle on them. You always got to question their durability. But we'll see. We'll see with Vic, man. We'll wish him the best.
I mean,
Uh,
if you can't defend LeBron in the Drew League, you're probably not going to do too hot in the
oh
NBA.
man,
I'm
yeah,
just saying.
that's tough, man. I felt bad when I saw him go down.
Yeah,
I was
man.
like, there wasn't a lot of contact there, right?
There wasn't.
There
So
wasn't.
that's when you really get concerned with players. Stilo, my boy says, I subscribe and watch both of y'all channels and love seeing y'all collab like this. I'm a Laker fan from the Bay Area, surrounded by Warrior fans that didn't exist 10 to 15 years ago. Love what y'all do. First of all, thanks so much, Stilo. You know what? You're the real Warrior, man. Pun intended, bro. Forget about the Warrior fans. You're amongst a pack of wolves. You're the real Warrior. So salute to you. And thanks for the shout out, man. I presume you're talking about Laker Nation podcast, but
Yeah.
I thought he was talking about,
Yeah.
because I was about to say, like, man,
I'm-
I want you guys' autographs. I thought he was talking about Petty and you.
No, there's no way. I
listen.
just started. I'm new here, man.
I was just about to plug him in. If y'all haven't checked out my boy Petty, man, the Pettiest Go ahead, plug yourself. I'll let you do the talking.
All right, if you guys don't know me, I have a web show called Petty in the Post. We talk about basketball and sneakers and a little bit of pop culture and stuff too. And we're gonna start doing some, some merchandise and stuff too. So I'm really excited. I've had the opportunity to have some really cool interviews. We got to have O'Shea Jackson Jr. on. I'm also gonna be having, a Spaceman on sometime soon. Hopefully Dan as well. So
Yes, sir.
you guys definitely should check out. If you like sneakers and like basketball, if you're really into the culture of sneakers and basketball, it's definitely the content for
And
you.
video gaming. You guys did a great job.
Oh yeah, too.
Today,
That's
God
part
of
of the
War.
pop culture part too. All of us, we're not just two-dimensional. All the guys sitting here right now, we like basketball and we like other things. We like TV and movies and stuff. So when something's hot, that people are talking about, Andor is going to be coming out this next week, the new Star Wars series. We might talk about our first impressions on that too. So
Yes,
definitely
sir.
check it out.
Hey, you absolutely killed it with that O'Shea Jackson Jr.
Yes.
interview, man. That was dope. And that story right there is worth the watch. So definitely go check out my boy Petty. Also want to plug in my boy Sean, man. He's been doing some great work. Go ahead, man, with your podcast, bro. Plug yourself right quick before I forget.
All right, I'll plug myself up. Follow me on Twitter at Sean_DAVI, and you can keep up to date with all my latest stuff, whether it's NBA power rankings for the front office show, NFL film breakdowns, NBA film breakdowns, starting a Substack so you can learn more about. I can get really more in depth on the schemes and stuff like that for both sports. So just follow me on Twitter, and you'll learn more there.
Dan, I have a question for him, if that's okay.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead, man.
Hey, I wanted to know what got you into the X's and O's for basketball? Because it's I feel like there's not a lot there's not a lot of people who have that love and passion for it like that, and I always really appreciate it because I learn a lot from you guys because I want to consume the information, but I don't like to do the research a lot of times. so I really appreciate that type of content, So I was just wondering what got you into the X's and O's.
I wasn't, to put it bluntly, and maybe I'll tell the full story when I come on your show. I know it's very exclusive, so I mean, I have to make the guest list, but waiting list. But long story short, me taking that route was my way in, and if I didn't take that route, then there was going to be a way in. So
fair enough.
Very
man.
short.
You got to do what you got to do, my boy, and you do an exceptional job of breaking down the X's and O's. So that's what's up, man. Shout out to my boy Arthur, who just dropped the Cash App really quick. Gonna read his comment on here. He said, for the shooter move signals, Russell is gone. That is what we're speculating on for sure, Art. I do think that the writing is on the wall. He sold his house. He put up his house for sale this week. We're hearing all the reports the Lakers still engaged with the Jazz, and now we add guard number 155 to the roster. So yeah, I mean, I do believe that it's very possible that Russell Westbrook could be traded. And for your second comment, he said it's a bad sign. Oh, no, sorry, not that one. He said we should pick up Myers Leonard. He got blackballed out of the league. If they're not going to, that's just what he said, man. None of the anti-Semitic slurs or racism is tolerated in the league, bro. None of that stuff.
Well, I mean, if you ask the owner, if you ask the commissioner, then
I know a team that he could go to and he would fit right in. It's in Phoenix.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Boston, bro. My bad.
Perfect. Yeah, them too.
You're right. If we're doing that, then throw Utah in there.
Mormon country.
He'll be in the rafters.
Next to Malone and Stockton, man. That's crazy. Listen.
Two also sickos. Both sickos.
Yo, I absolutely love the comment, man. Thanks so much for the Cash App, brother. That's crazy. All right, let's segue away from all that.
Sorry, man.
Oh, no, you're good. It's hilarious.
Oh, man.
Okay, so what do you guys make of the recent report and rumor that the Lakers are thinking about bringing Russell Westbrook off the bench? All right, this comes right after acquiring your boy Dennis Schroeder. What's up with that, man?
You go first.
No, I mean, it's interesting, and I personally, I think the report, and me and Trevor talked about, I think it goes one of two ways. I picked the positive way.
Okay.
The report that came out today lights a fire under Russ, who's in a contract year, and you've heard all the stuff about Allen Iverson going around and the comparison stuff like that. It lights a fire under Russ. He knows Darvin Ham is going to bench him if he has to, or send him home, and that might be it in terms of Russ's reputation and things like that. Or it goes, Russ is pissed off, and now you've lost Russ even more with the stuff that came out today. But I think, and I'm glad, honestly. And if you do run them with the second unit, I think it could look really cool, especially like if you trade Kendrick Nunn, maybe go get a Cam Reddish, for an example. Excuse me. So, yeah, sure. But with the reports in general, I hope it lights a fire under Russ, because Russ, when he's playing motivated but not careless, is a fun Russell Westbrook to have on your team.
Agreed. Absolutely. Go ahead, bro.
Let me break this down for y'all, all right?
Okay.
So this is the thing, right? So Russ last season, his coach was Frank Vogel. And to me, Frank Vogel is an all-time great defensive mind. I think he's an all-time great defensive mind. But he doesn't really command a room, and he also wasn't a player like the way that Darvin Ham was in the league. And I think that right there is going to lend him a little bit more of a respect between him and the coach, regardless of if they disagree about things on the court. And also, he's a brother too, so there's that. But I think that genuinely, Russ is at the point where he's accepted. Like I think he's done everything right. Like since the interview, the exit interview, which was excoriating. Shout out to that Stephen A. Smith word right there. And just really terrible and toxic. And really he didn't show any accountability. He said certain things, but then he said the next sentence would, go against that, right? I think he's done everything right. He hasn't talked about it. He's been at the games. He's either doing it sarcastically, which is like, petty. I also love that. But but if not, he's done everything correct. He's been at the summer league. He spent time with players. He was there at Patrick Beverly. I mean, that to me, you have to have a level of biting your tongue and a level of like humility to do that. To me, like to be there, like when all these rumors are going around there, that the Lakers are like looking for the first opportunity to trade you, and so to me, I think he's like going to do whatever he's asked, and I think he will be able to be successful whether he starts in some manner or he doesn't and he comes off the bench. To me, it's going to be more about lineups. He might like start in name just out of respect for his legacy and stuff like that as a player, like what he's accomplished in the league, and then be playing with the bench, like if that's a better, like the lineups are better. I know that Sean will be able to go a little bit more into like what lineups would be good with him. I'm assuming 2 guards that can shoot, but that's kind of where I'm at with it. So that's my long-winded thing to say. I think it can work.
Okay. I'll give you guys my quick take on this whole situation. It could have worked if we tried this last season or even before we acquired Dennis Schroeder. I think it would have been a better fit. I do not want to go into the season with all those 3 guards. Personally, I don't want Pat with Russ and Dennis. I just think it's going to be a horrible mix. I just don't think it works. But in a perfect world, if they get along and play nice and everybody buys into their role, I would have loved to have Russ off the bench because, he can do his thing as a primary option off the bench instead of being, a spot-up shooter in the starting lineup or, somebody who has to play off ball. So for those reasons, I much prefer him coming off the bench, but I still don't want him on the team, if that makes sense. So pretty much, yeah, man, I'm more excited if he does come off the bench, but I'm even more excited if he goes to a different team and he starts for them or does whatever. That's just my take on Russ, man. It's no hate. All love, wish him the best.
Hater. I quit.
All love, wish him the best, yeah. But,
And I need to apologize for earlier because I got Bojan and Bogdan. I got them mixed up in my head of which player we're talking. Because I said that he played for the Kings. I knew that that he had played for the Jazz. Yeah. But I got them mixed up. So I just want to say that. My bad.
You know what? No worries. I always mix up both of those names as well, man. That drives me nuts. Like through the course of the season, I always for some reason mix them up. But yeah, I mean, we better start learning his name because he might be a Laker. All right. So Report has it Dennis Schroeder picked the Lakers over the Toronto Raptors, Sean's second favorite team, right? Second favorite. The Phoenix Suns. Does that make you feel better about his acquisition, Sean? I'll start with you, bro. He picked the Laker. He wants to be a Laker.
Like, what is he? It depends on what he wants to be a Laker for.
Well,
does he want to be a Laker because he wants to be in LA? Because that's the answer. Then I want to be in LA too, bro. But no, that's not like that. I don't feel better because of that. If Pete wants to be in LA because he's gonna get, he's gonna get the playing time, and he wants to play with LeBron and AD again, then we're on to something. Because like, in what right mind? Like the Raptors, from covering them, they need, in my eyes, a backup guard. They need another guard to give Freddie a break and a breather because Fred VanVleet can't be playing 40-plus minutes a night. He's going to wear down. We saw it last year.
Right.
So there is a clear gap on the Raptors' depth chart right now, and he comes to the Lakers. So either A, he really loves LA, and LA is wonderful. Don't get me wrong. But if we're talking about a guy that's trying to re-establish his value around the NBA, it would make more sense to go someplace where he knows he's going to have the opportunity to compete for titles, which he could do at both places, and play. And on paper right now, you would say it's the Raptors, but he chose the Lakers, so I'm going to be hopeful that he came to LA because he thinks he could play, which has to signify a trade happening. But I could be wrong. And actually, according to Purple and Gold, Rush just got traded for a copy of 2K23. So
yes, sir.
Oh my goodness,
must be the best copy of 2K23 on the market, man. Hopefully, it comes with a signature. Really quick before I let you go, Petty, I do want to add to what you just said, Sean. His agent said that he wanted to rectify how his last stint with the Lakers ended, and he had a strong relationship with Darvin Ham since that played under him in Atlanta. But yeah, that's basically what they said. Also, multiple sources have cited that Dwight Howard's return to the organization in 2019-2020. Sources have raved about Schroeder's attitude this summer and the way he expressed acceptance in a complimentary role. So that's basically, he's willing to do whatever according to his agent, right? What do you think, Petty?
I think so. I think the last 2 years has been humbling for him. He's definitely not a minimum guard. Let's be honest. He should be getting that solely based on his talent and skill level. But two things: the money dried up, and the attitude that he showed while at the Lakers of him wanting to start. I think it poisoned the well for his opportunities, where other people are not, wanting to add that into the mix with everything. He's not good enough to be. He's not so good that he can be toxic. He's not Kyrie Irving. You know what I mean? Where he can be toxic and still garner those large contracts. So because we don't even know if Kyrie can do that anymore. So to me, I think that he had a piece of humble pie, and I think he's ready to kind of make things right. But also, I mean, if you're a free agent who's trying to get your next paycheck, in what situation are you going to the Phoenix Suns over the Lakers? So
there's no way in hell anybody's going to the Phoenix Suns right now, bro.
Also, he was talking about humble pie. Yeah, he had $84 million worth of humble pie. So
that is an expensive slice. My man just took out of that humble pie. 82 mil. How could you turn it? Was 84 mil, right? How could you turn that down?
It was 4 for 84.
Yeah, 21 mil a year, man. I'd be sick, bro. Honestly, I commend him on having a strong stomach and wearing the purple and gold again after he dropped the bag.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't even show my face in LA. If I dropped 84 mil, it was no.
That's tough. But you know what? I wish him the best. I hope he has a big season for us, of course.
Yeah, we wish all of them, none of that, all that stuff that we were talking about what we think will happen. We hope that they have, if they don't make a trade, I hope they have an all-time Russ season. I hope he has an MVP season, and you know what I mean? I want him to win. I want him to play well.
Russ averages 40.
I hope Russell Westbrook shuts me up, makes me eat my words, and makes me apologize on the live stream, because I'll do that.
I will.
Exactly. For the Russ fans, they're probably watching and say, "Oh, Dan, oh, Sean, oh, Petty, you guys wanted Russ gone. Now you're celebrating. You're damn right we're celebrating. If Russ plays well, we're gonna be running laps with y'all. We're gonna be
yes.
I'm gonna pull out my Russell Westbrook jersey that a fan gave that my boy gave to me, man.
Trevor has to wear a Russ jersey if he shoots 38% from 3 the first 10 games of the season.
Oh shoot!
He has to wear it live on show. He has to buy it too.
I'll be tuning in for sure, man. That's funny. My
Russ, do
boy,
that, please, just so we can do
Yeah.
that. That'd be awesome.
Even if you miss every other one after that,
What
we need that. Shoot
hey,
100% in the first game. And make your first three and just pass the ball there.
y'all should make him go. Y'all should make him put on some face paint as well to go with that. Half purple, half gold. That would be that would be the money shot right there, man. My boy Angel Torres asked a great question. Thanks for the super chat, my boy. He says, "Why are Boogie Cousins Shaq body types not as common anymore? I get needing space in the floor, but you are telling me that there's no bulky buff shooting centers out there? You know what? There's a couple of them. Let's start with the MVP. This man is pretty bulky. He's pretty big. I mean, he's a bully in the paint. He can space the floor as well, right? From the Denver Nuggets, Jokic.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, the reason, let me answer this really quick. The reason why is because the game is moving away from, paint dominance, right? It's going more into a finesse style of play.
Which I hate, by the way.
You hate it? Yeah, me too, man. I miss the old school style of basketball. What about you, Sean? What do you think of this new style?
From the bigs, I'm indifferent. Like, I think it'd be nice, like, see, that's why I feel like it's so frustrating with Embiid sometimes, especially like if you do prefer the old school style, because you look at Embiid, you're like, bro, if you don't just sit on the block the whole game, but like he wants to shoot the 20-foot step back jumpers, like Jokic or whatever. Jokic is the guy that you shouldn't mess with at all. But I don't know. I'm indifferent. It's whatever.
I like seeing more skilled centers, like for me, I like Joker players like that who can. I think they're special. The ones that can make a difference without, like being great passers, like that they can manipulate the game without necessarily having to be the person scoring themselves. And obviously, I mean, he's a much better improved defender, but he's not like a impact defender where he's gonna like change the game. So I like seeing more skilled centers, but like I miss seeing those battles between the centers, like Elijah versus Shaq, like a young Shaq. Like you're not gonna see that, again. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I just wish that the defensive NBA rules were a little more acceptable, right, to defenders, and they didn't protect the offensive player as much because, man, there's a lot of flopping nowadays. We even got centers, all the names of the centers flopping out here, and that's also dangerous for them. Even when I see AD take a fall, I feel like I'm watching Humpty Dumpty. I don't want him to crack or something. So that's always tough. I want him to stand up straight and play ball. Damn it! But hey, I guess that's too much to ask in the modern day era. We got a really negative comment. Matter of fact, let me check my computer. I think it just caught a virus just now. My boy Drew says, imagine this is our team, the Minions. He said, LMAO, pathetic roster for the Lakers. Rob thinks he's running the Magic or something. Okay, man. Hey, listen, man. We're going to be excited for the team no matter what. It's a brand new season of Lakers basketball. I understand that there's still a lot of question marks and we want some improvements. But yeah, man, I don't agree with your take, bro. I think Rob is doing the best he could with what he has been dealt with. Right, we got all these contracts. We don't have a lot of cap space, and I actually think this summer we did pretty good. We got some youth. We added to the size, and we added a brand new head coach, which we desperately needed since last season. So it's a W for me so far, but it'll be a huge W if we can get Russ off the books.
And to add what you're saying too, we see a lot of reports. Just remember when these reports come out, who does this report benefit? Like when you read the caption for a report, think about who does this report benefit? Who does this help? A lot of times it's not trying to help the Lakers. So a lot of those things that you think might have gotten offered, you're like, man, it's obvious that they should have accepted that. There might be some, terms and conditions about that weren't made public that if you knew them, you'd be like, no, I'm glad they didn't make that trade, right? So I think there's, what Dan's saying is correct, that we've done, I would say we've had like the safest good offseason that we could, right? It was a very safe offseason where we didn't make our roster worse, but the improvement was just at a basic level, like marginal. But to me, that's better than making a bad trade, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. And since you guys were so good with that answer, I'm just going to answer this question. Might be a bold take. Actually, no, I'm going to answer this in two questions, in two statements. I hate this argument. Who's the more, you know what, F it. Giannis is the more impactful player than Kevin Durant.
Oh,
more impactful.
Hot take.
Better defender, better passer, more dominant. KD KD is just the sexy player. He's the cute girl that's gonna cheat on you at the dance. But Giannis is the
Damn.
Giannis is the reliable one who's good at everything. You know, Giannis is the wifey. Katie is the girl that you date just to go to homecoming with, and then you break up with her. That's
Sheesh.
Okay. Sean with the life experiences on the chat. Okay,
Wow.
that's not even life experience. I'm just like saying, like
nah,
That was a
good analogy.
relationship Matt one, right?
Yeah.
there you go. Matt, you're welcome.
That's crazy, bro. Hey, that's a good analogy. I would say, to add to your answer, bro, I agree with you. I prefer Giannis. My man Giannis has actually led a team to a championship, not joined one. You know, so I'm taking Giannis for those reasons. And Giannis is way more impactful on the defensive end. And we all know defense wins championships. Okay, at the end of the day. Now, I will say this. The most gifted offensive player, Kevin Durant. Now, to me, bro, I've said this a lot of times, and I'll let you add to this, Petty, but I've always said that Kevin Durant has got to be the biggest, the greatest offensive player to disappoint in the NBA ever. And what do I mean by this? This man took the easy route, got 2 championships that are probably worth half of one. And he hasn't been able to lead another team to the finals or anywhere close, even when they built that super team in Brooklyn with him, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving. So his legacy is on the line here if he doesn't win another championship. As a matter of fact, he has to lead one, not join one.
What's funny is how much we just like threw dirt on Kevin Durant's name in the last 3.5 minutes.
I feel like I need to go the opposite direction specifically for that, because I'm a little bit more, positive of, in regards to Kevin Durant. It really depends on what your team needs. I would say that if we're just talking about overall, just like if you're trying to build your team around that person, obviously I agree with you guys, Giannis. But also too, like, I think that if you could have a marginally great defender but like Kevin Durant is a good defender now, and offensively, like you said, he's the only person he's competing with is himself. Like, that's why he's like more of like, to me, I've always looked at him as like a more efficient Carmelo, where he can be like the guy that gets you. I mean, as an offensive weapon, not like their games, but as an offensive weapon, like where he can fit in any offense and he's going to be efficient and do it. He can bring you over the top, but he's not the guy who's going to get you there. Giannis is the guy who's going to get you there, and he's going to need the people around him to help bring it over the top. KD is the guy who, like, once you have the team constructed, you throw a KD in there and it's done. Over. So because he's gonna fit in your offense, he's gonna be able to defend. He's always gonna make the right basketball decision, and he's gonna score. But I understand why like you guys' point or Dan's points about like his decision to go to Golden State. I was not for that. I respect anybody making a decision for themselves, but I was okay with him leaving OKC. It wasn't about that. It was the fact that he went to Golden State that I didn't like. And I don't think that it makes him not an all-time great scorer because of it. But I understand, because that was not good for basketball in my opinion. So,
well, yeah, listen, this is why I say he's the most disappointing offensive talent we've ever seen, because he could easily go down as the greatest offensive weapon we've ever seen.
That far.
I could. You can't say most disappointing.
Listen, 7 foot tall, handles. He's clutch. He can hit game-winning shots. Like you said, he's a capable and willing defender. And yet he has 2 championships that are pretty much worthless to show for it. He's in Golden State, man. When you go to Golden State, you win championships with another MVP candidate. How much can you really credit that title?
Well, that's true, but that's different than being like the most disappointing. I can give you like some disappointing offensive, like. We would talk about like disappointing. Okay, Darren Williams. Let's talk about like offensive.
But we're talking about an MVP in this league. We're not talking about All-Star. It's levels.
I still would have gone like most disappointing, and then also like
well, for me, because coming out of Texas A&M, I expected great things from this kid, man. When he got drafted by the Seattle SuperSonics, and then eventually, obviously, they become the Thunder. That core, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and I understand the fit wasn't ideal.
That's all on OKC, on OKC's ownership. That's all on OKC, not on them. They were young. They were like still learning how to win, and they made it to a finals and they broke it up.
But that's my point. This is my point. Kevin Durant, if you can't beat him, join him. He gets beat. They're 1 game away from advancing to the NBA to the finals potentially, and you get beat by the team, and you go and you join them. But again, it's just we can have a whole take on this.
No, I get it. I would love to have that conversation.
Well,
with
listen.
you,
I have
sure.
NBA. I have around the league Thursdays. I'd love to have you boys
Okay.
back on, and we
Okay.
can talk other teams.
All right,
I just have one question. Really quickly.
Go ahead, brother.
Kevin Durant beats the Warriors. He loses in the finals. He joins Golden State. What happens then?
It's still weak. It's as fuck. It's still weak as fuck. You joining the Warriors, bro. That team was stacked. They had Klay Thompson in his prime before his injury. You had Draymond. They were previously a 72 win team. You can't just go. You can't be an MVP and go join that team and expect to get your flowers for those 2 championships. You get half of credit for half of a championship, man. You people want to discredit our bubble championship? No, go discredit those 2 championships right there.
I mean, I get it. It was kind of like a foregone conclusion when he went there.
Bro, literally the only team we thought had a shot was Cleveland.
Yeah,
literally, like we were waiting for the finals. Nobody else did a shot that year.
Yeah, and honestly, it was like not enjoyable to watch for anybody outside of like people who liked Golden State because they were blowing teams out. Like they were blowing teams out and like playing flip cup. Like LeBron was that one fight. Like they were just not. It wasn't even like serious to watch it. So I get the move, but to me, I have to separate that team and how I viewed them. There's different ways that I view them. Like there's the team as a total. Of course, they're like one of the greatest offensive teams of all time.
Greatest teams in general.
Or the greatest team of all time. People say it's weird saying that for me, but I haven't really thought about it much. But also, like to me, Kevin Durant probably could have won a championship somewhere else. And it's like a lot of all-time great players have to go learn to win. LeBron had to go learn to win, with Dwayne
Miami.
Wade. Like, Kobe, came into the league. He didn't learn how to win until he was playing with Shaq. And I'm not saying that that's the only reason he was good, but you have to have people who know how to win. He had those battles. He had already beaten like Michael Jordan in the playoffs. You know what I mean, and been to a final. So I personally just feel like I have to separate those 2 things, like his greatness from that move, if that makes sense. So
now, granted, I definitely think this might be a hot take. This last thing I'm going to say, those were all Steph's teams. I will not hear otherwise. Those were Stephen Curry's teams when Kevin Durant was in Golden State.
Agree.
Those were his teams.
I agree, and this is why you won't hear me rag on Curry as much as I rag on KD because.
I can tell these past 10, 12 minutes.
Yeah.
No, and listen, I respect KD as a talent. I just wish his mentality was stronger, man. I wish this guy was a killer. Didn't focus too much on the Twitter trolls, and he focused more on the court. I think he has another level. I don't know about now, but in his prime, I thought he had another level, and he just disappointed me personally. Maybe it's personal for me, but that's how I feel about KD. For me, the most disappointing superstar of all time. For me. Superstar.
I hear you, man. We gotta get into that sometime.
No, hey, listen.
I'm fascinated by it.
Around the league Thursdays can get really hot, and these boys join me next week. So make sure you guys sub, like, and subscribe, man. And make sure you guys tune in. All right, we got a question from my boy Art, and I'm almost gonna end the chat because we're over an hour now. But my boy Arthur says, if Jabari Parker is an option, would you sign him? He's 6'8". Jabari Parker, man, he's like the forgotten one. Yeah, the injuries really destroyed his career, in my opinion, man. I forgot he even existed. I'll be honest.
Sorry,
with you,
I couldn't. That was like my natural expression. I'm sorry, Jabari, if you're watching.
No. Why are we laughing at Jabari Parker? This is a legit question, man.
It's because like injuries. He's not right. Like you'd really be saying like can we get anything from the dried up husk dead body of Jabari Parker?
Damn.
Like that's
my boy
like,
my boy just destroyed.
But that's being honest. Like I was making it funny, but like come on.
Yeah. Go ahead, Sean.
I don't think it's gonna happen. For one, like I think they're gonna keep that 15 spot open unless they absolutely have to. And I know because like with luxury tax penalties, it'll be like times 4 for that 15 spot. So like you're paying Jabari Parker theoretically like it'll be $8 million to get him. Yeah, I think they'll pass.
Okay.
They're flaming me in the chat for not knowing the difference between my bogeys. I will take that L. I know the 2 different players, but I got the names mixed up. I will take the L on that one.
It's all good, man. It's all love. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, man. This was actually really fun, man. I'd love to have you guys on sometime again. Like I said, I do Around the League Thursdays. This is when we get into other teams as well. And maybe we can have some more debates about, these Kevin Durant type arguments, man. It was pretty fun. So I'd love to chop it up with you boys again. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. go follow these guys, man. Seriously. A final plug. Go ahead, guys. Take it away. Plug yourselves one more time.
Go ahead.
No, Petty, you go first. Damn it.
All right, I have been making you go first every time. All right, guys. Like I said, check me out. We do kind of more of a basketball and sneaker culture podcast, because I know there's a lot of amazing, obviously, people covering the Lakers. I was trying to make it a little bit more than that. So if sometimes you want to know a little bit of what's going around the league outside of just, the Lakers, or because we cover the Lakers too, but if something big like the Sarver situation happens, we talk about that too. So make sure you do that. And if you're into sneakers, like that is what I want, people who are into sneakers and are passionate about it. I kind of want to be the person who talks about basketball and sneakers and how they relate. So we'd love to have you guys come visit, and we're gonna start doing some live shows too, but right now we're mainly a web show and podcast, and we might start doing some more live stuff once we get to our follower count, our goal of 1,000. So
yes, sir. Everybody go check them out, man. They're pretty great. I've checked them out myself. Might be a guest one day. If they haven't.
It's a very exclusive list. I'm still trying to work my way on there.
We've only had one guest.
That was a great guest. You set the bar, bro.
You set the bar a little too high. I'm not sure I can.
So,
it was cool talking to him about Star Wars, though. Like,
yes,
getting to talk to someone who's like grew up watching Star Wars, the same age as you, who's like now I'm in it, is like so awesome, man. It was cool.
Yeah.
You guys gotta check that interview out. It's with O'Shea Jackson Jr.
O'Shea Jackson Jr. Definitely check him out. Go ahead, Sean.
You guys just follow me on Twitter at Sean_DAVI, because there you can find some great NBA, NFL content, film breakdown, stuff like that. And we're starting our Substack, my personal Substack for my personal YouTube channel, where you'll find if you want to learn more about in-depth schemes and on the NFL side and the NBA side, and more film breakdowns, because I can't do film breakdowns right now for Laker Nation. So peek my curtain. So go check out my Substack, and you can find that on my Twitter page.
Yes, and you know what? He's definitely Mr. X's and O's, so definitely do you guys yourselves a favor and check him out. All right, guys, it's gonna wrap it up, man. Thank you guys again. Thanks for the chat, for showing up, having fun with us, and participating. Everybody who donated, super chats, likes, all of that. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you already haven't. And I'll see you guys on the next one, man. Peace out.